In this particular discussion, Prabhupada was appealing to his disciples to take on the mission that his guru gave him, to spread Lord Chaitanya's message to the world. And then Srila Prabhupada, as a matter of fact, he said, I am an old man, I may die at any moment. He said, nothing to be bothered with, because that is nature's law. Nature's law is every single one of us could die at every moment. There's nothing you can do about it. We could take medical stuff, and we can get security for our homes, and all of these other things. But still, maybe not this moment, but in a very upcoming future moment, it will happen. It's inevitable. It's nature's law. Taking responsibility for the service of Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna, is the eternal reality. And it is the means by which we can enter into that eternal reality. Here in previous and future verses, it's describing how the false ego manifests. Krishna, who's one, he manifests himself as material energy and spiritual energy. They're all coming from him. Maya Dyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. This material energy is under Krishna's control. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Krishna tells, I'm the source of all spiritual and all material worlds. Everything emanates from me. And the next part of the verse tells what the whole purpose of spiritual and material existence is. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my loving service. So if we want to actually be liberated from the sufferings of this world, and if we want to help others to be liberated from the sufferings of this world, it's important to understand what is the root cause of suffering. And here and throughout the Vedic literatures, it is clearly defined. It is ahankar, the false ego. What is false ego? When we think, when we're under the illusion that I am the controller, I am the proprietor, and I am the enjoyer. The only way we could think like this is when we forget that we're eternal souls. Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya's message to Sanatana Goswami, he establishes the principle of Sanatana Dharma on the verse, Jivera Swarupoi Krishnera Nityadas. The nature of every soul in every species of life, everywhere, in all material and all spiritual worlds, is that we're eternal servants of Krishna. Nityasiddha Krishna Prema Sajjakabuna. Our love for Krishna is the inherent nature within all of us. But when we forget that, we become covered by this ego, this false ego. And in the false ego, we start identifying Janasya Mohoya Mahamameti. I am this body, whatever's in relation to the body is mine. And then we come under this feverish condition of trying to be the proprietor, the controller, and the enjoyer. Krishna tells in Gita, Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suradam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati. The only true peace is when we understand and recognize, and that recognition, it comes by applying the principle to our daily life. That Krishna is the proprietor of everything, Krishna is the controller of everything, and ultimately everything is meant to be used in Krishna's service. Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. And Krishna is our ever well-wishing friend. No matter what happens, Krishna is our friend. Krishna loves us unconditionally, unlimitedly. And the only real shelter, anywhere, in any time, is in Krishna's love for us. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Haridesha Arjuna Tishtati. And Krishna is within our heart. Krishna is within the heart of every living being, just waiting to give us shelter, when we turn to Him. What is that keeps us from seeking shelter of Krishna? Ahankar, the false ego. It's all the very root of all the weeds in the forest of our hearts. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains that a devotee is like a gardener. The seed of bhakti is there within us. It's awakened by the association of devotees. It's nourished through the water of sadhana and seva, through satsang, association, adosha dada sadhu sangosta. It's a whole gradual evolution of bhakti awakening within our hearts. But he describes that there are many weeds, and these weeds obscure us from being able to recognize the real purpose of our life, the seed of devotion. In some of our cases, we've been devotees, so the seed becomes a sprout. And then the sprout becomes a creeper, and then the creeper grows into a wonderful tree with fruits. But we have to be very careful. The weeds of lust, selfish desires, anger, arrogance, envy, illusion, and from all of these things, they're like weeds that have other counterparts that develop from them, the desire for prestige, the desire for profit and greed. And for those of you who have done some gardening, no matter how much you cut weeds, they grow back. And sometimes, the more you cut them, the stronger they grow back. The only way to actually free yourself from these weeds is you have to uproot them. So all these anarthas, the root of them all is the false ego. That we're thinking ourselves, prakriti kriyamanani gunai karamani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma kartahamiti manyate. The bewildered soul we think ourselves the doers of our activities. But actually that's all happening by nature. Mayadhyakshena prakriti, and Krishna is the source of nature. We're all completely depending on Krishna, always. So this false ego is at the very root of all suffering.
RG Media YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe.